everybody. This is Katrina Robinson, Editor-in-Chief of the News Argus. I'm here with the one and only Chancellor Donald Julian Reaves, one of his final Q&As with the News Argus. So it's nice to be here with you today.
Thank you.
Our first question is, you announced this past spring that you would be stepping down at the end of the fall semester, which is in the middle of the academic year. Why aren't you staying until the end of spring semester, and why are you retiring now?
Good questions. Well, I'm retiring now because I just feel like it's the right time. We are at a point in the process of trying to improve the university where if I were to take on the next big initiative, it would require a commitment of more than several months. It would require a further commitment of several years. And I'm now in my 8th year. And when I came to Winston-Salem State, I committed to staying 5 years. So I tell everybody I'm now in the 8th year of my 5-year commitment.
Right.
So it's really it's time to go. I think we've gotten an awful lot accomplished. I think we've set the stage for the next chancellor, and it's just the right time.
Okay. What was your greatest challenge as chancellor?
I'd say the greatest challenge as chancellor has been getting people to believe in the institution and getting people to believe in themselves. When I arrived, I talked about encountering a culture at Winston-Salem State of what I referred to as low expectations. Not everyone held the university. I had high expectations for the university or for its students, and one of the goals that we set out to accomplish was to change the perception of the university and to change the perception of those who thought that our students were not capable of succeeding. And I think we've done that. I think students feel better about the place. I know the community does. And it's important when you talk about that from the perspective of, what is the value of a degree that you seek. You don't want to attend an institution where where people hold the degree that you hold in low esteem. When you present yourself with a Winston-Salem State University degree, people should say, oh, that's great. He or she attended a school where I know they learned something. And that was the biggest challenge.
Last year's Q&A, you mentioned the demolition of the Fine Arts Building. When will that begin, and when will the music department be able to relocate to Hauser?
You're asking me specific dates. I don't know the specific dates, but we are on the path to do what we call restore the core, which is to restore the core of the campus, and that's where the Fine Arts Building sits. Now, I know we've made progress towards that because we opened the Student Success Center, and in opening the Student Success Center, we emptied out Hauser. And so I believe that the next step would be to begin work on Hauser.
Okay. What classes would you teach next semester?
Well, it won't be next semester. It will be the next academic year. I am entitled to a year's sabbatical, which I would certainly need, given that I haven't taught since 1993. When were you born, Robert?
92.
Oh, 92, okay, so I haven't taught since 1993, and I will certainly need to retool. But I was actually talking last week to the dean, to Corey Walker, about that.
Okay.
And I'm leaning towards teaching a course on not-for-profit financial management, given that that's what I did for almost 20 years before coming here. I was the chief financial officer at Brown University, and I was the CFO at the University of Chicago. And my job was to manage the finances of those two not-for-profit organizations, one of which had 5 hospitals attached to it. So, and I like to think that there's a science to doing that, and I would like to teach that. So that's probably number 1 on my list.
Okay.
The dean, on the other hand, has something different in mind and would like me to teach, I think, a large section of American government, which I might consider doing.
So what about the merger? Let's talk about the most important thing.
Okay, the merger, see, people get the merger, people are confused about the merger, and they look at the $1.2 million savings that derived from the merger. But that wasn't the primary motivation for doing it. The primary motivation for merging things was to bring about a marriage, so to speak, between the courses in business and in education that people think of as being a professional curriculum and the liberal arts curriculum. We are absolutely convinced that the best students coming out of college today are those who have a liberal arts education, whether they are teachers, whether they are in business, or whether they are in arts and sciences. A major exposure to the liberal arts is the best training that you can possibly get as a student in the 21st century. The faculty would not have done it had we not brought about that consolidation, because the business school sees itself in a silo, the education school sees itself in a silo, and as long as they see themselves independent of everything else, they're not going to collaborate to the extent that you need. The best thing that can happen to a business student is that they take courses in the liberal arts. The best thing that can happen to a teacher is that they take courses in the liberal arts. Now that they're housed under one dean, that will happen.
What do you think about the unflattering claims and downright nasty accusations about your administration and administrators posted on the online blog WSSU Insider?
I don't read WSSU Insider. Don't look at it. People tell me about it. I think that it is, but I have my opinion about it. It's a cyberspace for cowards. You know, if you want to express your opinion, speak up and express it. Don't do it anonymously. And that's all that is a bunch of, I don't want to say what I really think. It's not even worthy of my consideration, and it's posted by people who are cowards.
So are you able to provide an update about Rudy Johnson and the Virginia State incident? Is the case in litigation as of right now?
No, there's no litigation. None that I know of. The matter's settled.
Okay.
It's settled.
Okay.
Within the conference, we met, when did we meet? We met last spring. We talked about the incident, and we put it behind us.
Okay. So what do you think should be the priorities of the new chancellor? What unique qualities does he or she need to possess?
You know, I'm not gonna sit here and put together a list for the next chancellor. That would be unfair for me to do that. You know, the next chancellor needs to come to the position having developed their own set of goals and objectives and priorities. That's not for me to say. If asked in private, I would certainly offer some suggestions, but I'm not going to do that in a public way, because whoever the next chancellor is should be free from the opinion of the former chancellor to do what it is that he or she wants to do.
Right. What suggestions do you have for student media?
I would like to see the student media at this campus be more aggressive. There are, you know, I come from a background where the student newspapers, at one institution, every morning when I got to work, the first thing I did was I picked up the student newspaper, because I wanted to know what that newspaper had to say, because they had their hands and their nose and their fingers into everything. And it wasn't that the administrators were afraid of them, it's that we wanted to see what they were saying about how the student body was reacting to this, that, or the other. The student newspaper had that much stature on that campus that I read it every day, the president read it every day, and I don't see, how often do you all come out?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, right. So you come out every 2 weeks, which means that 13 days, 14 days go by before I see another edition. And I would like for you to really, you know, get deeply involved in the life of the institution through the lens of the media. which means good investigative reporting, good writing, and frequent reporting. And I think you've got a long way to go. If you agree at all with what I'm saying, is to take a look at some of the better school newspapers around the country and see what they do and see how they do it and see what it takes. And maybe the resources aren't available, but you at least need to know what it is that you are capable of doing or what it is that you might want to do. A vibrant school newspaper that is known for, honesty and integrity and timely reporting is the kind of school newspaper that makes the students and the administration reach for it first thing every morning, because they know what they're going to say or what's being said in that newspaper is important.